Thank you all for being here. It's been an extraordinary day for us, a day which has in many ways reversed decades of Anglican history, 40 years of divisions among the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Church of Canada, and in fact 140 years if we look back to the Reformed Episcopal Church, which was founded exactly 135 years ago yesterday, bringing 11 jurisdictions representing Anglicans in Canada and Anglicans across the United States together in this missionary partnership. The way in which the work was done today marks 5 years of labor and attempts to come together. The work that we have done in producing a provisional constitution is responding to what 7 primates of the Anglican Communion asked us to do in a meeting that represented a majority of the world's Anglicans that took place last June in Jerusalem. They asked us in the Common Cause Partnership to form together a province that could be recognized by the whole of the Anglican world, and that's the work we did today. I would report to you that in the work that was done today, the spirit of unity and mutual submission was as fine and as great as I've ever known it. Every article of the Constitution examined separately was, after discussion, unanimously passed, and then 9 canons which put in place the things necessary to live into that Constitution were adopted, and also were adopted unanimously by all of the partners of the Common Cause. The work that was done today in creating a province in formation, in approving a provisional constitution, is a work that will be completed 6 months from now, when in Bedford, Texas, at St. Vincent Cathedral, the Provincial Assembly will gather to actually ratify the Constitution that was adopted today. When that assembly meets, it will gather representatives from every one of the diocese networks and clusters that are to be represented out of all of these jurisdictions. Again, across cultural lines, across churchmanship lines, across lines of division over the ordination of women, we've come together in a way that speaks of the very best of what Christianity is meant to be. Our unity is in Jesus Christ and in no other, and it's because of that unity in Him that we were able to do what it was that's been done today. One final thing I'd say is about the mission of the province and the structure that was adopted. The purpose of this province is to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and His transforming love with everybody who will listen in the U.S. and Canada and beyond. That's what this Constitution focuses on. At every level, its mission that is talked about, from the individual whom the Constitution puts forward as the chief agent of mission, from the congregation that's described as the chief agency of that mission, from the diocese, which is a banding together under a bishop of all of those congregations to do the local mission, and finally a province which exists in order to assist that mission. It's a structure that's about what we do at the local level with the higher levels simply trying to make that local mission possible. So that's what I'd like to say to you all. Again, thanks for coming.
Identify yourself, Tim.
Tim Morgan, Christianity Today. Bishop Duncan, the Episcopal Church released a statement about an hour and a half ago saying, just reiterating, that they are the official Anglican body in the United States. So my question is the goal of this new enterprise to displace the Episcopal Church or to be a parallel province?
I think what the Lord is doing is the Lord is displacing the Episcopal Church. Again, the Episcopal Church has been in extraordinary decline, as Mrs. Brust said, over the last 50 years. It loses, the 2007 figures was, it loses more than 1,000 people a week in average Sunday attendance. That's more than 50,000 people a year. What we are focused on is our mission together. We actually are a body that is growing, that is planting new congregations, that's concerned to be an authentic Christian presence in the U.S. And in Canada. The issue about who's the province here is not ours to determine. The Episcopal Church is correct in saying at present it is the province that's recognized by the structures of the Anglican Communion. But it would also be correct to say that of the 38 provinces of the Anglican Communion, 22 have either declared broken or impaired communion with the Episcopal Church, those provinces representing about 75% of the Anglicans around the world. It's our anticipation that the archbishops and the provinces representing far and away the majority of the Anglican Communion will begin to recognize this province. And they have already broken their relationship with the other province. So one is an official reality, and the other is an emerging reality. And I think that's where we are. It's not ours to determine. It's the Lord's who's called us to do this work. And there's an old principle within the life of the church that the Lord blesses what he blesses. And standing where we do in relationship to the word of the Lord, we expect a kind of blessing that will look quite different than the more recent experience of both the Anglican Church in Canada and the Episcopal Church in the United States.
David?
David Virtue Online. Bishop Duncan, do you expect to be recognized by the Archbishop of Canterbury? And if so, would you be attending the primates meeting in Alexandria, Egypt, if it gets to that point? Or do you expect an invitation to that?
The Archbishop of Canterbury and I are in regular communication. The press will generally know that it was the Archbishop of Canterbury who asked for a meeting that we had and that Lambeth Palace spoke about back in October. What the Archbishop of Canterbury will do as this province emerges is for him to say. We have put ourselves forward in line with the Windsor Report and the work that's gone on across the communion these last 5 years in response to the crisis created by the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Church of Canada. We stand where the mainstream of Anglicanism stands. The question will, of course, be, will the Archbishop recognize those who stand where the mainstream of Anglicans and the mainstream of Christianity stands, or not? But that's actually up to the Archbishop.